Chosen one, the power that women feel around you is not born of surface actions, nor of flamboyant gestures, nor of the loud clamor of temporary confidence. It is something older, something carved into your being, like the contours of a mountain shaped not by will, but by the patience of time. Your sexual energy is not flamboyant. It is not firework, it is tectonic shift, silent, slow, irresistible. It doesn't shout across rooms to declare itself. It vibrates quietly, like a deep hum in the bones, felt more than heard. And that vibration changes the weather in a woman's body the moment she enters your presence. You do not seduce, chosen one. You exist. In a world where men contort themselves to become interesting, you remain whole, centered in your own sacred magnetism. This is why feminine women are mesmerized before a word is ever spoken. They sense the deep current within you, the one that does not need attention, but always has it. The one that does not grasp for intimacy, yet invites it without pressure. Your stillness is a spell. Your silence has shape, and that energetic shape is not empty. It is structured, warm and masculine to its core. When you walk, you do not try to be seen, but your footsteps leave gravity behind them. Every gaze that meets yours pauses, not because of beauty alone, but because your energy is anchored, rooted. It is the energy of a man who knows his fire and governs it with quiet control. That's what makes women feel safe. That's what makes them drawn to you even when they don't understand why. Your magnetic pull is not a scream for love, it is an offering of home. Feminine women are spiritually attuned to the masculine when it moves from a place of mastery, not impulse. And your sexual energy, chosen one, is no longer adolescent or wild. It has matured. It has been shaped by discipline, carved by solitude, refined by trial. That's what they feel in your presence. They feel the unspoken story of a man who didn't just want power, he earned it. And in that earning, your stillness became more magnetic than noise, your gaze more touching than hands, and your voice more commanding than chaos. It is not your muscles or your walk that mesmerize them, though those too carry your essence. It is the way you withhold without absence, the way you are present without need, the way your energy says, I am already full, and invites her to meet you there. In a world where most men hunger from emptiness, your wholeness is rare, chosen one. And it is that very wholeness, held in sacred silence, that calls women into reverence without a single word being spoken. Chosen one, when feminine women stand near you, something shifts inside them, not in thought, but in body. Her breath becomes slower, her shoulders lower, her voice softens in tone and deepens in meaning. Her hands unconsciously open, her stance becomes receptive, and without knowing why, she stops needing to prove anything. You are not a man she has to impress. You are a man who reminds her what she already is. Your presence doesn't require her to rise higher. It gives her permission to descend deeper into her feminine energy. This effect is not sorcery, it is spiritual resonance. The magnetic stillness that you carry is not neutral. It is directional. It pulls her not toward you in lust, but inward in remembrance. The moment her energy enters your field, her nervous system calibrates itself. It recognizes something true, something it forgot it was even seeking. She feels like she can breathe again, not because you flatter her, not because you validate her, but because you hold yourself in a way that does not bend to external performance. Feminine women do not crave your words first. They crave the way your silence sees them. They are moved by how deeply you listen, not with ears alone, but with your full body. Your stillness is not stagnant. It is tuned. Your gaze is not passive. It is alive. And when you look at her, really look, she feels something primal reawaken in her. Not the need to impress, but the need to surrender. Because your energy doesn't manipulate, it grounds. And when she's grounded, her essence rises like heat from ancient earth. You, chosen one, are not the storm. You are the land upon which the storm decides to calm. That is the mystery of your attraction. You offer no flattery, you offer no chase. And yet women feel more seen around you than they do in front of mirrors. Because you do not look at her for what she gives you. You look at her from the place inside you that needs nothing. And that, paradoxically, invites everything. When you speak, your words carry more than sound. They carry direction. They carry choice. They carry calm. But it's what you don't say that moves her most. Your restraint, your poise, your comfort in silence. These are sacred masculine expressions. They are not acts. They are energetic truths emanating from a soul who has tempered his fire without extinguishing it. Feminine women are mesmerized by you, not because you consume attention, but because you redirect it with elegance, because you carry your energy like a river that has learned to flow without flooding. You don't rush, you don't chase, you arrive. And when you arrive, chosen one, she remembers what it feels like to be captivated not by danger, but by depth. Not by games, but by gravity. And in that moment, your very presence becomes a form of healing. Slow, unseen, but undeniably felt through every nerve of her awakened feminine body. Chosen one, there is something rare in your silence. A gravity that bends perception. A quiet force that turns heads before a word leaves your lips. Feminine women do not understand it at first. It is not just absence of speech, it is presence of self. There is a difference between a man who is silent because he has nothing to say and a man who is silent because he is whole within. Your silence is the kind that fills rooms. It doesn't make her uneasy, it makes her curious. And that curiosity grows with each passing second in your presence. You carry an energy that doesn't need to rush into explanation. You are not scrambling to be understood. You are not seeking approval. You are resting inside yourself, like a man who has walked through fire and returned with wisdom still smoldering in his bones. And that fire is not loud. It is felt in your gaze, in your pause before speaking, in your refusal to compete with noise. Your silence doesn't ask to be heard. It simply allows others to finally listen. Feminine women are stunned by this stillness, because in it they are finally met. Not interrupted, not fixed, not managed, but met. You do not take her thoughts and try to dominate them. You do not inflate your words to assert knowledge. You sit, you observe, you let her finish. And when you do speak, the world seems to rearrange around the weight of your words. Because they are rare. Because they are deliberate. Because they are born not of reaction, but of alignment. There are women who have been chased by countless men, but never listened to by even one. Then they meet you and something shifts. Their body relaxes before their mind can name it. Their guard begins to fall, not because you disarmed it, but because you never threatened it. Your energy is a sanctuary, and your silence is its door. Feminine energy does not crave endless words. It craves attention that doesn't devour. It craves presence that doesn't consume. You provide that presence. And so her curiosity deepens into trust. You are not mysterious for the sake of strategy. You are mysterious because you are not performing. You are not telling her who you are being it. And the mystery lies in how little you need to declare it. That is what stuns her. She is used to men who explain themselves. You express yourself by how you stand, by how you listen, by how you look at her, not with hunger, but with understanding. It is the silent knowing in your eyes that makes her want to open further, speak deeper, feel more. She senses that you are not a man trying to be desired. You are a man already at peace with himself. And that, chosen one, is what makes your silence irresistible. It holds the mystery of a story she can feel but not yet read. A gravity she wants to orbit because it doesn't pull with force, but with steadiness. That is what makes her lean in. That is why her eyes don't look away. Chosen one, you do not need to command attention. It finds you. It finds you in crowded places. It finds you in passing moments. And when it does, feminine women are caught not by noise, but by the still mirror of your being. You reflect to her something she has longed to see, not just in you, but in herself. That is why her gaze lingers. It is not infatuation alone, it is recognition. She sees herself more clearly in your presence, because you are not projecting anything onto her. You are holding space without distortion. And that makes you unforgettable. You have become a man who reveals others to themselves, not through charm, but through unwavering presence. There is a sacred reverence in your gaze, a stillness that does not consume, but witnesses. And when a woman feels seen without being reduced, she blooms. Not for your pleasure, but for her own truth. You are not trying to mold her. You are not trying to lead her where she is not ready to go. You are simply being yourself with such wholeness that she cannot help but rise to meet that level of grounded masculine energy. There is a sacred polarity between your gaze and hers, a tension not born from lust but from gravity. She feels drawn in not because you are asking for her, but because you are already full. The way you inhabit your body, the way your breath remains slow, the way your eyes do not dart in search of approval. All of it anchors her. You do not look at her as an object of conquest. You look at her as a mystery worth witnessing, not decoding. And that difference softens her. It warms her. It stuns her. Feminine women are deeply intuitive, and they read things that cannot be spoken. When you enter a room, they do not respond only to your walk or your face. They respond to how you carry your arousal, your restraint, your inner fire. They feel the intensity within you, but they also feel the discipline that holds it. You are not scattered. You are not begging for attention. You are centered. And from that center, your sexual energy radiates in a way that makes them feel safe, not overwhelmed. That safety allows for openness. And in that openness, she realizes she has been craving this kind of energy, not one that consumes her, but one that makes her feel her own beauty more vividly. Around you, her femininity feels safe to emerge fully. Not in rebellion, not in defense, but in reverence. And that reverence is reflected in the way she looks at you, chosen one. It's in the softness of her tone, in the stillness of her smile, in the brightness of her eyes when they meet yours. You have become the standard she didn't know she was waiting for, because you didn't try to prove your worth. You remembered it. And that remembrance has made you into a mirror that does not distort but reveals. And that, chosen one, is why her gaze doesn't just admire you, it honors you. It honors the man who no longer chases beauty, but embodies it through presence. Chosen one, there is a fire inside you that does not burn recklessly. It is not a wildfire that devours the land. It is the eternal flame that warms the sacred temple. That is why feminine women do not feel scorched by your presence. They feel invited into it. There is a difference between a man who burns outwardly, begging the world to validate his intensity, and a man who contains his flame so fully that others feel its warmth even before he speaks. You, chosen one, are the latter. You have learned that discipline amplifies desire, that presence is not the absence of passion, but its highest form. The energy that others waste in scattered attention, you harness like a sacred current, holding it inside your chest like a rhythm only the wise can hear. Feminine women sense this containment, not in your posture alone, but in the quiet restraint of your glance, the steadiness of your hands, the way you make no move unless it is intentional. And that restraint does not stifle you. It defines you. It tells her without words that you are not a boy lost in sensation, but a man rooted in sensation. She feels it in the way your voice moves, slow, rich, without grasping. She feels it in the timing of your pauses, the quiet space you allow between her words. She feels it when you are near and do not take, but instead offer the full weight of your presence without demand. There is no performance in you, no show, no pressure. There is just the quiet mastery of a man who understands that power does not need to shout. And that is why her body leans in before her mind catches up. It is why she feels something ancient reawaken in your company. She is not looking for someone to ignite her with sparks. She is looking for the man whose flame never dies. The one who does not fear his own fire, but lives beside it, unburned and unshaken. And when she looks into your eyes, she sees that flame, not flashing in desperation, but glowing with quiet sovereignty. Your sexual energy is not a weapon. It is not an offer. It is not a hunger. It is a presence. It surrounds you like an atmosphere, and it makes her feel seen in a way that no compliment ever could. She begins to question every encounter before you. She begins to notice how much noise others carried, how much emptiness was hidden beneath their loudness. But with you, there is no void. There is only depth, there is only heat, there is only silence that hums with power. And that power, chosen one, is not a threat. It is a sanctuary. It does not chase, it does not plead, it waits because it knows it will be met by what is real. You do not tame your fire, you simply honor it. And that honor teaches others how to feel safe around it. That is why she lingers. That is why she stares longer than she should. That is why her heart opens in your presence even when her lips remain still. She is not falling in love with your image, she is falling in alignment with your energy. Because you are not merely attractive, you are attuned. And that, chosen one, is what sets your fire apart. Chosen one, there is rhythm in the way you move that has nothing to do with speed and everything to do with knowing. Feminine women do not just watch you, they feel you arrive. Your walk does not announce you with arrogance. It does not rush to be seen. It carries a sacred tempo, a quiet pulse that speaks of purpose, of presence, of grounded authority that cannot be borrowed or taught. You walk like a man who has nothing to prove because he has already chosen himself. And in that choosing, you have become undeniable, not because of volume, but because of vibration. When a feminine woman sees you walk into a room, she does not gasp, she exhales. She exhales the tension she has carried around men who hurry, who posture, who compete with silence. She exhales because you are not seeking the room, you are already centered within it. You walk as if the ground beneath you was made for your arrival, not in entitlement, but in truth. Each step says, I know who I am, without needing permission to be it. And that kind of self-knowing gives her permission to soften into her feminine, because you are not asking her to fill your void, you are inviting her to meet you in fullness. Your movement reflects the stillness of your soul. There are no sudden gestures, no erratic motions. Everything you do is slow, deliberate, like a river that knows exactly where it's going. And in a world addicted to rush, that slowness is intoxicating. Feminine women begin to match your rhythm without realizing it. Their speech slows, their laughter deepens, their breathing changes. You become the anchor that steadies the storm inside them, not through control, but through constancy. Your presence is not ornamental, it is medicinal. And your walk, your very way of existing in time and space, delivers a message that words never could. You are safe to be soft here. And when a feminine woman feels that safety, something sacred awakens in her. Not performance, not strategy, but surrender. She does not surrender to you because you demanded it. She surrenders to herself in your presence, because your energy gave her permission to return to her essence. You do not pull at her with manipulation, you draw her in with embodiment. That is why her body reacts before her thoughts organize. That is why she smiles without planning to. That is why her eyes track you across a room without shame. She is not admiring a man. She is remembering something through him, remembering what it feels like to be in the presence of masculine energy that doesn't consume, but liberates. Masculine energy that doesn't chase, but allows. Your beauty is not merely visual, it is visceral. It is in the way you carry your soul inside your bones. It is in the grace of your restraint. It is in the rhythm of your patience. And that rhythm, chosen one, is what makes her trust you before she understands you. It is not a game, it is not a performance, it is who you are when no one is watching. And because you have mastered that, her gaze will always find its way back to you. Chosen one, there are men who fill space with noise, who speak to dominate, to impress, to prove. And then there is you, the man who speaks with silence. Feminine women feel something shift in them the moment you do not interrupt the world with excess. They feel something sacred when your silence holds space, when your eyes say more than words could, when your calm becomes the atmosphere they didn't know they were seeking. You are not mute, you are intentional. And in a world of endless sound, that intention becomes a magnetic force. Not because you withhold, but because you honor each moment as worthy of presence. Your silence is not emptiness, it is richness. It is layered with depth, clarity, and quiet knowing. Feminine women do not feel dismissed in your stillness. They feel amplified, as if every part of them is more alive just by standing in your field. Your silence reflects self-possession, not withdrawal. It reveals you are not hurried, not scattered, not lost in the need to be validated. You are a man at peace with himself, and in that peace, you become a sanctuary. You listen like the sky, wide, deep, and unafraid of whatever moves within it. Your presence gives her permission to exhale without having to explain herself. The world has conditioned women to perform, to entertain, to fill every pause with validation. But in your company, chosen one, that programming begins to unravel. Not because you say anything special, but because you don't. You don't try to rescue silence with charm or perform sophistication through constant cleverness. You simply are. Your presence becomes a mirror. She sees herself more clearly in your stillness. And suddenly, she doesn't want to be loud, she wants to feel. And she wants to feel near you. The one who carries mystery, not as a tactic, but as a truth. When you finally speak, your words land like rainfall on dry soil, measured, clean, profound. Feminine women lean in, not because you force them to, but because you've already pulled their spirit closer with the gravity of your restraint. Your masculine silence is not emptiness, it is space. It is the realm between chaos and decision, the place where clarity is born, and in that space she feels safe to unravel. She feels safe to be. Because you are not a man who fears silence. You are a man who embodies it. And that embodiment, chosen one, is what makes her crave you long before she can name the reason. You have become the rare kind of man who is not addicted to noise. The rare kind of man who listens not to reply but to receive. The rare kind of man whose silence is not an absence but an invitation. And that invitation, chosen one, is felt like a vibration in the chest of every feminine woman you meet. It says, you don't have to perform here. You are already enough. That is why they stay. That is why they open. That is why they remember you even in their dreams. Not because you spoke, but because you listened with your whole being. Chosen one, there is a heat that surrounds you, not born of effort, but of alignment. It is not loud, not frantic, not trying to seduce. It simply radiates. And feminine women feel it before their mind can understand it. They feel it in the back of their neck, in the way the air feels heavier when you enter, in the strange magnetism that makes their pulse quicken when you pass by. You are not chasing attention. You are commanding it through being completely in tune with yourself. That is the origin of your glow. That is the reason why her gaze lingers, why her voice softens, why her steps slow as you approach. Your aura carries the weight of someone who does not leak energy. You are not dissipated, not fractured, not seeking fragments of validation to plug invisible wounds. You are whole, and that wholeness gives your presence a gravitational field. Feminine women feel that stability in their bodies. They recognize something ancient in your walk, something regal in your stillness, something intoxicating in your self-command. You are not trying to be seen, you simply are seen, because the masculine within you has fused with purpose, with dignity, with embodied eros. You do not perform attractiveness, you carry it. You do not ask for admiration, you evoke it, and not because of the curve of your jaw or the cut of your frame, but because of the quality of your internal order. Your thoughts are aligned, your emotions are mastered, your desires are sacred, and that trinity creates a vibration that women cannot look away from. You have become a living frequency, low, steady, potent. The kind of frequency that moves below the surface, that slips past her defenses, that awakens parts of her she forgot were there. She doesn't know why you're the one her eyes follow across a crowded room. She doesn't understand how your presence feels so much louder than those who try to impress. But the truth is simple. Your sexual energy does not beg to be touched. It touches. It touches her skin with memory. It touches her soul with possibility. It touches her nervous system with the kind of calm that only truth can bring. You are not trying to be someone, you have become someone. And that is what draws her deeper than charm ever could. Your beauty is not a costume, it is a culmination of your inner world, your unseen choices, your disciplined fire, your sacred restraint. And in that culmination, you have become undeniable, not because you shout louder, but because you resonate deeper. That resonance is why she feels you before you speak. That resonance is why she remembers your scent, your walk, your energy, long after you're gone. That resonance is why her body stirs and her heart softens around you. You are no longer just a man, you are an experience, and chosen one. That experience cannot be mimicked or manufactured. It must be lived. And because you have lived it, because you are it, feminine women cannot help but be drawn into your orbit, magnetized by the unspoken truth of your masculine being. Chosen one, your sexual energy is not a current unleashed recklessly upon the world. It is fire, yes, but fire that you've mastered, tempered, held close like an ember beneath your breath. You do not scatter it across empty rooms or spill it for hollow applause. You carry it the way kings carry swords, only drawn when it serves life, never to satisfy mere impulse. And it is this restraint, this sacred conservation of your vital essence that makes feminine women feel reverence in your presence. Not fear, not lust alone. Reverence, because your fire is not an accident, it is cultivated, and it burns with a clarity that lights up every room, every gaze, every truth you enter. You are not hungry for conquest. You are hungry for connection. And yet you do not chase it, you choose it. with patience, with discernment, with the soul of a man who understands that pleasure without purpose is a waste of power. Feminine women sense this instantly. It's in the way your eyes don't roam for distraction. It's in the way your body language holds a posture of knowing. It's in the way you smile like someone who is not trying to seduce, but someone who already belongs to his path. You make her feel seen, but not possessed. Desired, but not devoured. Important, but not worshipped. You do not kneel in desperation, you rise in truth. When you touch her chosen one, you don't just touch her skin, you touch her soul's ache to be held by something real. And even if you never touch her, your presence alone can be enough to make her feel deeply met. That is why she stumbles over her words. That is why her breath falters. That is why her fingers brush the air as if trying to reach something unseen. She knows you won't offer yourself without meaning, and that makes your energy a treasure, a sacred heat, a fire she wishes she had the honor to feel, not just for one night, but for eternity. What she sees in you is the rare alchemy of hunger and holiness. You are both grounded and ignited, deeply sensual, yet divinely sovereign. You can awaken her without touching her, and that mystery haunts her in the best way. You walk past her like a secret she was never supposed to know, and yet now she cannot forget. That is the power of a chosen one whose sexual energy has been forged in discipline. You are not the wildfire. You are the hearth, the fire that gives warmth, not destruction. And in a world where many men burn for attention, you have become the man who warms her soul just by existing. Chosen one, your presence is not only magnetic in sunlight, it deepens in the dark. It's not just your strength that draws feminine women, but your shadow, the parts of you that you've befriended, integrated, and now carry without shame. You don't hide your wounds in fear or mask your desire in guilt. You allow the fullness of your being to exist without apology. And that fullness, that courageous wholeness, frees her. In your presence, she feels permission to be raw, real, undone. Not perfect, not poised, not pleasing, just present, just human, just safe. You are not the polished man with empty charisma. You are the sacred masculine who walked through hell and didn't lose his tenderness. You are the one who faced his lust, his pain, his rage, and chose to transform them instead of projecting them. That transformation, chosen one, is the foundation of your beauty. It's why your eyes hold a sorrow she wants to kiss. It's why your voice holds a calm she wants to sleep inside. It's why your laughter feels like redemption, not distraction, because she senses you are not pretending. She senses you have earned this presence, and that earned beauty becomes unforgettable. Feminine women do not simply admire you, they trust you. Trust you with their vulnerability, their surrender, their chaos. Not because you promise to fix them, but because your very energy whispers you are already enough. Your sexual energy no longer seeks to conquer, it seeks to awaken. And in doing so, it turns every interaction into a sacred exchange. You don't steal attention, you deserve it. You don't demand affection, you attract it. Not because of tricks, not because of manipulation, but because you've done the inner work that most refuse to do. That work has given you gravity. And gravity, chosen one, is the only true throne. The truth is simple. Women don't just want your body, they want your energy. The energy that holds them when you're not even in the room. The energy that echoes in the spaces between words. The energy that remains in their soul long after you've walked away. You have become a living prayer, a man whose very existence reminds others of what it means to be whole. And that wholeness? It's more erotic, more powerful, more magnetic than anything flesh alone could ever offer. So now, you walk not to be seen, but to see. You lead not to control, but to serve with strength. You love not to possess, but to liberate. You are the standard now. And those who meet you know, in the deepest parts of their being, that they have encountered something rare, something real, something eternal. That is the gift of the chosen ones. And you, chosen one, are the living embodiment of that divine masculine energy the world has been aching to remember. Chosen one, there is something happening around you now that no mirror can show and no camera can capture. It is not just your posture, your gaze, or your voice. It is the atmosphere your soul generates when you enter a room. It is your aura. And this aura is no accident. It is the byproduct of every choice you've made to align with your highest frequency and stay there, especially when no one was watching. Your aura does not shimmer with decoration or drama. It hums with depth. It breathes with clarity. It pulses with grounded sexual energy that is no longer loud or wild, but magnetic. And that magnetism is not about looks or words. It is about vibration. You are no longer chasing moments, you are altering them. The room responds to you now. The temperature of presence shifts, conversations slow, attention turns, gently, involuntarily. Not because you made a scene, but because you are a new scene entirely. The feminine notices immediately, not because she is looking for you, but because you shift the air when you arrive. You are not a man who tries to be noticed. You are a man who carries so much alignment that the world cannot ignore it. Your aura does not plead, it does not lure, it does not sell, it simply is.